Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Sunday, so we're doing breaches of the week, and please bear with me, I actually have the flu. That's what I get for traveling. So here we go. I think what we are seeing overall, before I get into the breaches, and I just went back and looked at pretty much all of my breaches of the week videos for last couple of months at least, we are seeing a rise in medical breaches. In other words, health facilities, hospitals, doctors, dentists, etc., are getting more and more data breaches, and there seems to be significant targeting of them. Now, in my own personal experience in working with medical and hospital facilities in the cybersecurity community, I tend to find a lot of them to be fairly behind, if you will, in a couple of different ways, including data security and cybersecurity frameworks. So take that for what it's worth. But this week is literally no exception to that. And we're going to actually start with Wolverine's Solutions Group. Now, this is an organization that actually supports medical and health facilities. They provide mailing and other services. They just declared a breach, which included personal information of hundreds of thousands of people, at least worldwide. I read one report saying that over 700 health companies were affected, totaling over 1.2 million people. And so that is kicking us off. Moving on, outside of Wolverine's massive HIPAA violation, we're going to be talking about Rush Medical Center in Chicago, my hometown. This is one of the largest and most advanced medical centers that Chicago has to offer. They just declared a breach of personal information of 45,000 Rush patients, and the exposed data may have included names, addresses, birthdays, social security numbers, health insurance information, and on and on and on. Now, an employee of one of the hospital system's billing processing vendors inappropriately disclosed a file to an unauthorized party around May of 2018, and here we are. And so human error might have been the case, but if you're a patient for Rush, you might want to check that out. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Emerson Hospital in Concord. A data breach occurred between May 9th and May 17th of last year, when a third-party vendor used to assist collecting payments, MiraMed Global Services, sent electronic filing containing patient information to an unauthorized third party. 6,300 people for Emerson Hospital in Concord were affected. Now, what I find interesting about these two things is that both Rush and Emerson were in May of 2018. I was not able to get a confirmation if MiraMed was the vendor for Rush as well, but I'm wondering if we're sitting on yet another data breach equal in size, if not larger, to to Wolverine Solution Group, due to MiraMed data breach. And so here we are, more medical health issues. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Bon Secours St. Francis Health System. It is notifying patients about a security breach that may have resulted in some of the PHI, protected health information, being viewed or obtained by unauthorized third party. Now, these individuals gained access to the systems of the Milestone Family Medicine Center in Greenville, South Carolina, and that attack basically targeted the EHR, or Electronic Health Records System, and Milestone has access to St. Francis. And so what they are declaring, and I was not able to get a full number on this, is names, addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers, health information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you start to see a pattern here. It's absolutely crazy. And the last one we're going to be talking about in the health field somewhat is actually AIA Singapore. Now, they are obviously out of Singapore. They are a life insurance company, but they are taking action after the discovery of a potential data breach for 225 of its current and former agents, as well as their family members, and that was found publicly accessible. So if you work for AIA Life Insurance, heads up on that. And those are your health breaches of the week, and we are not done with the other kinds of breaches, but I find this interesting because we've got a lot of medical facilities from small to large using third-party contractors in their supply chain, and it seems like we have another case of supply chain hacking here, or simply mistakes happening due to lack of good safeguards and controls. And I think that's a very serious issue we need to discuss overall, because I think the medical industry really needs a kick in the pants when it comes to ramping up cybersecurity. Moving on, let's talk about Saudi Arabia real quick. Now, there's an organization or a company in Saudi Arabia called Dalil, and they have the biggest phone directory in Saudi Arabia. Now, a research team discovered a major security breach in Dalil's database, and instead of actually protecting its users, this breach meant that complete data sets for over 5 million users in Saudi Arabia were open and accessible to literally the entire internet. And so if you are from Saudi Arabia and you are watching this, please make sure that if you're in Dalil, your information is protected. And finally, let's talk about what researchers are calling a mega data leak in the vein of some that we've seen over the last month or two. Now, this comes from an unprotected MongoDB database. If you're not familiar with MongoDB, a lot of websites use it online to allow you to store and access data for whatever the website is doing. This is about 150 gig of data, and it belongs to a marketing company that exposed over 809 million records. Now, this archive included 798 million email records, 4.1 million email records with phone numbers, and 6.2 million business leads, whatever that means. And so those are your breaches of the week. We continue to see an uptrend in health, which obviously completely sucks because that is a lot of personal data there. And so, were you affected? Let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.